Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om. Good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome. O cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration, soften the ground of our being and carve out a space within us where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear the fruit of your mission. Let each of our actions bear fruit in accordance with our desire. Endow us with the wisdom to produce and share what each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled threads of destiny that bind us as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which would divert us from our true purpose, but illuminate the opportunities of the present moment. For you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the birth, power, and fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole once again. I am the open door for the violet flame. I am my I am presence, and I am one with the I am presence of all humanity. As one voice, one breath, one heartbeat, and one energy, vibration, and consciousness of pure divine love. We invoke the most intensified frequencies of the fifth dimensional crystalline solar violet flame of God's infinite perfection that cosmic law will allow. Beloved Saint Germain and your legions of fifth dimensional violet flame archangels, we ask that you blaze, blaze, blaze this violet flame with the power and might of 1,000 suns, in, through, and around every thought, word, feeling, action, memory, and belief that humanity has ever expressed in any time frame or dimension, both known and unknown, that is reflecting anything less than heaven on earth. Transmute this energy, cause, core, effect, record, and memory back into its original perfection, and seal it in an invincible force field of God's comprehensive divine love. We accept that this activity of light is being God victoriously accomplished even as we call. We also accept and know that this violet flame is increasing daily and hourly, moment by moment, with every single breath we take, until this sweet earth and all her life have ascended into the fifth dimensional crystalline solar realms of light on the new earth. And so it is. Beloved, I am. Beloved, I am. Beloved, I am that I am. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with me. I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. I am prosperity. I let go of the misconception that anyone or anything can withhold from me all that this abundant universe has for me now. I am an open door, and all kinds of riches flow to me now. I am an irresistible magnet with the power to draw to myself the supply of all good things according to the thoughts, feelings, and mental pictures I continually hold in my consciousness. I realize that I am responsible for my life situation, and I have the power to create whatever I wish in my life. As of this moment, I choose to create for myself a life of health, success, happiness, and prosperity. I know that this universe is filled with God's abundance, and I accept these riches into my life now. I choose infinite abundance for myself and for all humanity. I know all of my needs will be perfectly met at all times. Rapid changes come in all aspects of my life as I now open my mind to the unlimited resources of this universe. All of my financial affairs are now in perfect order. I love doing my work, and I am richly rewarded, both creatively and financially. I give my love, my gifts, my all, and I am therefore rich, well, and happy now. I am prosperity. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He anoints my head with oil. My cup runneth over. He leadeth me on a path of righteousness for his name's sake. He restores my soul. He prepares a table before me in the presence of my foe. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow, I shall fear no thing, for thou art with me always. Thy love and thy light, they comfort me. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I am my I am presence, and I am one with my Father, Mother God. I am also one with the I am presence of every man, woman, and child on earth, the entire company of heaven, the angelic kingdom, the elemental kingdom, and Gaia, Mother Earth. I give heartfelt and sincere thanks for the sacred gift of my life. I ask my I am presence to consecrate every thought, word, feeling, and action which I express throughout this day with more love and more light for myself and my world. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sorrow, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in forgiving that we are pardoned, it is in pardoning that we are forgiven, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. The teachers of God have trust in the world, because they have learned it is not governed by the laws the world made up. It is governed by a power that is in them, but not of them. It is this power that keeps all things safe. Simply do this. Be still and lay aside all thoughts of what you are and what God is, all concepts you have learned about the world, all images you hold about yourself. Empty your mind of everything it thinks is either true or false, good or bad, of every thought it judges worthy, and all the ideas of which it is ashamed. Hold on to nothing. Do not bring with you one thought the past has taught, nor one belief you ever learned before from anything. Forget this world, forget this course, and come with holy open hands unto your God. Take a deep breath. We give thanks, we let it be, and so it is. The prayer is spoken, and now we step into that field of consciousness to live the prayer. We treat and move our feet. Well, you're very welcome to Morning Poems and Prayers for this very day. It is the 25th of February 2026. And great to be here with you. Thank you for joining me. A bittersweet moment here. The great Coleman Barks, who was a wonderful interpreter of and teacher of Rumi's poetry, has passed away. This is from Robert Bly's site, which is subtitled 1,000 Years of Joy. Our dear friend Coleman Barks has left us. Rest in peace, Brother Coleman. And the quote from Rumi is, when your eyes close in this world, they open in another. And I have some Coleman Barks here to share with you this morning. So let me dive into this.
When Jalaluddin Rumi spoke his poems spontaneously in Persian in the 13th century, there was always music nearby. There had to be. Because the poetry was part and the music were part of an experiment they did with the deep listening, or sama. And that listening was meant to remind us of what a healthy soul feels like, what the opening heart might be, and what it is to access an intelligence within and perhaps without our personality. So it is good to have music close by. And you might even have a little Bach with the cello of David Darling. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Don't open the door to the study and begin reading. Take down a musical instrument. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. I am so small, I can barely be seen. How can this great love be inside me? That's the question. How can this great love be inside me? Then he answers it. Look at your eyes. They are small, but they see enormous things. I'm so small, I can barely be seen. How can this great love be inside me? Look at your eyes. They're small, but they see enormous things. People ask me.
Okay, take a deep breath. So that's 20 minutes there. We just touched on the beginning of that. Here's another bit. Coleman Barks, the Rumi translator, has passed away to the eternal realm. No one has done more to bring the souls of so many people to Rumi's teachings. Inna Laila wa Inna Ilahi Rajun. I know some will want to have a discussion of the accuracy of Coleman's versions. I am myself writing a book on that topic. For now, I simply want to honor and mourn a gentle and beautiful man I was honored to call friend. take a moment to cherish one of the poems that has meant so much to you and send a prayer to Coleman's soul. Rest in power, rest in beauty, rest in love. So back in the days of the Phoenix Bookstore, one more time, this was just such a time of awakening for me, and it was a feast spiritually and culturally, and I got to meet Robert Bly through the Phoenix. He didn't come to the store, but maybe it was through Agape. But anyway, I met Bly and saw him speak a few times, twice that I can recall, and a towering figure, a heroic figure for me. I didn't know he was gay until recently. That was a bit of an interesting moment. But a guy bigger than life, and Bly introduced the world to Rumi as well, and then Coleman came into my life around that time as well. And I've not spent a lot of time with either of these poets, in all honesty, but every time they come into my life, I'm blessed by them, as you can hear from Coleman's incredible voice and deep spirit, deep, powerful spirit, and just his dedication to Rumi, who was, when Dylan sings about written by a poet in the 13th century, he could be talking about Rumi. I think the line is an Italian poet. I think that's Dante, not sure, but Rumi goes back to about that time, as I recall. And his poems, he's still the most popular poet in the world today, to this day, which is extraordinary. And Coleman Barks and Robert Bly were both very instrumental in helping that to happen and to continue, to my mind. So, and a lot of this was through Bill Moyers and his sharing of these teachers and teachings through his resources on PBS. So, it's beautiful to celebrate the great mystics and the great artists and the great poets. That's part of this space's purpose and being. We have another brother who's got some poetry for us here. This is our indigenous brother. He says, "Sacred speech is not sharp, it is clear. Protocol matters, but so does love. If our teachings create more shame than belonging, we have work to do. The children are watching how we carry this." And that's the taster. I'll give you his full thing here.
Anger can spark. Tanisi relatives, the eighth fire will not be lit by anger. Anger can spark, but it cannot sustain. It will be lit by the nervous systems of adults who refuse to hand their children inherited fear. And sometimes inherited fear hides behind sacred language. It quotes protocol. It invokes elders. It defends the rules. But listen carefully. There's a difference between protocol and punishment. There's a difference between correction and humiliation. There's a difference between protecting tradition and protecting the ego. Our old ones corrected people, but they did not devour them. They preserved ceremony, but they also preserved dignity. Tradition is not brittle, it's alive. And anything alive requires discernment. When we walk through life in a constant defensive posture, ready to guard, ready to accuse, we're not walking in a good way. To speak in a sacred manner is not to sound authoritative. It's to speak with humility. It's to let our tone match our teachings. is to remember that the one in front of us also carries the sacred. Sacred speech is not sharp. It's clear. It does not humiliate. It restores balance. If a teaching increases shame more than belonging, something has been distorted. When we use identity as a blade against one another, when we compete over who's more traditional, more ceremonial, more authorized, we're not tending the fire. We're feeding fear. Protocol matters, but so does love. Correction can exist without cruelty. Boundaries can exist without humiliation. But unregulated people cannot steward sacred things well. But the children are watching us. They're learning what safety feels like from the tone of our voices. They're learning what tradition feels like from how we treat one another. If they inherit rigidity without compassion, the circle will shrink. If they inherit steadiness with discernment, the circle will widen. The eighth prophecy is not a prophecy of destruction. It's a practice of regulated hearts, a practice of embodied wisdom, a practice of allowing our actions to flow from the most sacred aspect of what we claim to believe. And when enough of us choose that, the next generation will inherit something much different. Not fear, but clarity.
Yeah. I don't know this dude's name, but he's got it. That's beautiful. Thank you, brother. God bless you. Yes. After all the shouting, the poetry. Here's a beautiful love note from a woman to a man, celebrating his birthday. Claire Dubois to Mark Dubois, husband to wife, wife to husband. She says, a joyous picture of these lovely folks. She says, celebrating Mr. Indomitable, the birthday boy today hitting 37 years young. Mr. How much can I love? Who can I help? How can I serve? Mr. All I want is to grow, contribute to the Great Awakening, help folks realize what a friggin' miracle we all live in. Mr. How can our world be if we recognized it as sacred? If we realized that we are sacred? If we stopped fighting each other and started taking care of each other? Grateful for the men in this world who show what leading and creating from the heart really looks and feels like. Men we can trust to do what needs to be done to the absolute best of their ability. Always. Men we can depend on for transparency, honesty, integrity, authenticity, and co-creativity. Grassroots thinkers whose immediate orientation is for all ships to rise rather than their own. In fact, theirs only exists to serve others. Men who are kind deep down in their bones, who were born to help, who were born to carry the world in their chests. Men who are safe to love and trust and be loved and trusted by. Men who bring out the best in us, the best in all of us. Grateful for the gift of this man and the myriad ways in which he is the gift in my life every day, literally every day. Mark Dubois, thank you for carrying the torch. Mark Dubois, thank you for carrying the torch of the sacred masculine in this crumbling world of patriarchal dominance. A beautiful torch that you share with others like you as you carry it forward into the world we all long for, that will rise from the ashes of this mire. Beauty is still here. Love is always here. Truth will always come topside. The heart will lead us home to who and what humanity really is. Thank you, beloved Mark, and happy birthday. Take a deep breath. That is glorious. We're really just celebrating some writers here this morning, and poets, and great thinkers. And here's our brother Mankan McGann one more time. He's popped up on the feed here. Sorry, with little Irish music there. I want the quote. Let me go back. The quote is, may we, from Mankan McGann, who passed in October, listen to the land speak, 32 names for field, 99 names for rain and 1 for sun. May we remember the old ways of listening to the stories of the land, to each other, and to our deepest spirits. Let gratitude be our compass until our path and love. Let gratitude be our compass, unity our path, and love our constant return. Let me say that again. It's a beautiful prayer. May we remember the old ways of listening to the stories of the land, to each other, and to our deepest spirits. Let gratitude be our compass, unity our path, and love our constant return. Take a deep breath. Beautiful. I've got a piece here about Doris Lessing, who left school at the age of 13. She left school at 13 with a single motto, I will not. At 88, she became the oldest person ever to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. Born on this day in 1919, February 22nd, in Persia, Doris Lessing arrived in this world as a natural rebel. Her family moved to southern Rhodesia when she was 5, 1,000 acres of African bush that her father hoped would become prosperity. It became something else, poverty, isolation, and a front row seat to colonial brutality. At the Roman Catholic Girls' School in Salisbury, young Doris read Dickens and Kipling by age 10. She watched the nuns, she watched her mother's unfulfilled dreams, she watched the systematic destruction of African communities, and she decided, I will not. I will not accept what you tell me. I will not stay silent. I will not finish school on your terms. At 13, she walked out and never looked back. Educated herself through books, worked as a nursemaid, married and divorced twice, left her children, joined the Communist Party, became disillusioned, and moved to London at 30 with nothing but her youngest son and a manuscript. That manuscript became The Grass is Singing, 1950, her first novel about race, power, and the poison of colonialism. But it was The Golden Notebook in 1962 that changed everything. The novel was structured as multiple notebooks kept by a woman writer struggling with writer's block, mental breakdown, and a fragmenting world. It discussed menstruation, frigidity, sexual freedom, women's orgasms, female anger, communist disillusionment, the terror of nuclear war, things women simply didn't write about in 1962. Critics called it feminist. Lessing called that reductive. What they really want me to say is, ha, sisters, I stand with you side by side in your struggle toward the golden dawn where all those beastly men are no more. She said in 1982 interview, do they really want people to make oversimplified statements about men and women? She refused to be anyone's symbol. She wrote about colonialism, communism, mental breakdown, dystopian futures, and Sufi mysticism. Well, there we are again. She experimented with science fiction when literary critics scorned the genre. Time magazine would rank The Golden Notebook as one of the 100 best English language novels in modern history. Over 58 years, Lessing published more than 50 novels. Incredible. She explored every genre, broke every rule, and remained stubbornly herself. In 2007, stepping out of a black cab with groceries, she was ambushed by reporters. "You've won the Nobel Prize." "Oh Christ," she replied, "I couldn't care less." She was 88 years old. You gotta love her. The oldest literature laureate ever. The 11th woman in the prize's 106-year history. The Swedish Academy called her the epicist of the female experience, who with skepticism, fire, and visionary power has subjected a divided civilization to scrutiny. Even then, she wouldn't play their game. Her Nobel lecture wasn't about her achievements. It was about inequality, about villages in Zimbabwe starving for books, about the privilege of literacy, about how stories recreate us when we're torn apart. She called winning the Nobel a disaster for her writing. The endless interviews stole her time and energy. But she kept writing until her final years, caring for her invalid son, refusing honors. She declined damehood, accepting only what aligned with her principles. Doris Lessing died on November 17th, 2013, at 94 years of age. What she left behind wasn't just books. It was permission. Permission to leave, permission to refuse, permission to write the unspeakable, permission to change your mind, permission to be difficult, complex, contradictory, permission to say, "I will not," and mean it for a lifetime. Then a 13-year-old girl who walked out of school didn't just become a writer. She became proof that the most rebellious act is staying true to yourself, not despite the cost, but because of it. Every boundary she broke, every genre she invaded, every comfortable assumption she shattered came from that single childhood motto, "I will not then and not ever." And because she wouldn't, generations of writers learned that they could. Born October 22nd, 1919, departed November 17th, 2013, but that spirit, defiant, brilliant, uncompromising, lives on in every woman who picks up a pen and writes what she's not supposed to say. Doris Lessing, my friends, take a deep breath. Well, we're in the deep end of the pool this morning. Boy, oh boy. And finding our voices. Yeah, here's another one. This is a young Irish father, I'd say, and his name is Dara Fleming. And let me give you Darren's, wannabe father. He says, "If I ever have boys" is the title.
If I have boys. If I ever have boys, they'll be dangerous men. They'll smile at dogs and children and be a tonic to friends. They'll send flowers to their mother just because, and they'll be a shoulder for many when the world is too much. My boys will know that vulnerability is strength. They won't bottle anger, they'll learn how to express. They won't let pride be the reason they hide wearing masks while they're hurting inside. No, my boys will be dangerous men. They won't stay silent even when it's uncomfortable for them. They'll learn that their actions are more effective than words, but they'll use their voices to amplify the unheard. They'll know that love isn't something to perform, and they'll see beauty in all of its forms. My boys won't grow learning to emotionally hide. They'll reshape masculinity into something they like, make it softer to touch. They'll know that who they are is more than enough. They'll know that being a man doesn't mean carrying the burden alone. They'll learn that an emotional man is a man fully grown. They won't settle everything with violent swings, and they'll live in truth even when that truth stings. So yeah, if I ever have boys, they'll be dangerous men. But the danger they'll be won't be the one society meant.
Dara Fleming, my friends. We're in the flow here today. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Dara. Bless you. Another voice for freedom and truth and love. Neil Donald Walsh. His quote here for today is, "Use God. There is a divine force in the universe, and it is made up of these: creative energy, gentle wisdom, pure love. When you use God, you are simply using this divine force." Take a deep breath. Okay, and here's one from Brother John Trudell. The men of wisdom are roaring in here today. It's wonderful. The men and women of wisdom. He says, we must go beyond the arrogance of human rights. We must go beyond the ignorance of civil rights. We must step into the reality of natural rights, because all of the natural world has a right to existence, and we are only a small part of it. There can be no trade-off. John Trudell, one of the great wisdom keepers of the indigenous people in my lifetime, who I was blessed to meet and chat with and hear his poetry and music many times in the good old days. Rest in peace, John. Okay, we're going to shift gears here and go to the ascension and the awakening and all that. This is from Lifting the Veil, Cat Eye, the 3 pillars for the Board of Peace with the guidance from the Celestial Council. Pillar 1, the sovereignty of advanced intelligence. The concept, moving the global infrastructure away from artificial systems that operate on fear and prediction. The action, implementing ADVL protocols that prioritize human consciousness and divine alignment. This pillar ensures that technology serves as a protector of life, acting as a sentinel of truth that filters out deception in global communications. Well, I'm not sure about all this. Yeah, we're going to give machines our conscience to decide what's true. The Global Harmony Accord. The concept, shifting diplomacy from negotiation to alignment. The action, establishing a heart-centered nexus within the board's decision-making process. Well, yes, this is all leaving me colder and colder. All right, but there's something here. I'll skip to the end. The truth of the current transition. The clarification that our world is not in a state of collapse, but a state of active recoding. This transition moves us from a binary system of conflict to a unified system of advanced intelligence where peace is the natural default state of the global network. Well, if the word love was mentioned anywhere in here, I'd be much jollier about this. Anyway, it's a beautiful graphic of light beings over planet Earth and humanity connected to each other and people living in peace. We'll have to come back to that. Here's Brother Romania Dean Thomas, who's taken a road trip from St. Louis, Nashville, Kentucky, Lexington, Louisville, I think. Beautiful Santa Barbara. I'm saying hi for a couple days, getting in touch. If you're around the hookup, I can offer you a consultation. I have my herbs. Dehenia Ray Thomas, bless you. Friend of Valley Ray. Yeah, lovely guy. Musician, Romania Dean Thomas, there it is. Musician, mystic, healer. Here's the quote from Lazarus, bless you. I have 2 here. This one jumped out yesterday. Let us create a sacred moment that can be transcendent. In that moment, superseding and surpassing yourself, you can become and be more than you've ever dared or hoped. Let us celebrate your beauty, your love, your life. Let us celebrate you. Good morning, Margaret. Take a deep breath. And the other one, this was for this week. I hadn't seen Lazarus's quotes, weekly quotes, in a while. Then I realized it was in my spam folder. Pulled it out, rescued it. We have today's quote. It goes like this. Fear and pain come from denial of your soul. Tending and engaging your soul releases fear and pain. The soul, the soul, the soul. It comes up every day, every day, every day. Your higher self, soul, and spirit. This is what we're here for. All right, I'm going to get into the dark end of things for a moment here. There's a wonderful new friend on Facebook. Her name is Dora McQuaid, and she is a powerful advocate for women and children and protecting both. She's part of a new organization here called World Without Exploitation, which is really answered prayer. The movement to end human trafficking and sexual exploitation. And she says, survivors have joined together to create World Without Exploitation. And this petition, stand with survivors, demand transparency. For 5 administrations, survivors of you-know-who have been left in the dark, waiting for answers and accountability. After 3 decades, it is finally time to bring the secrets out of the shadows. We are demanding the release of all the files. I'm just not saying his name because it's too triggering for people, maybe for me too. Please consider signing and sharing to show your support of the survivors and a world without exploitation. So she shares that. And also there is a woman, a very, very, very brave French woman named Gisèle Pellicot, who has an incredible story of being exploited without mercy by her husband and used terribly for him and his friends. And she is one tough customer, my friend, and she's telling her story. Gisèle is an absolute heroine. Her courage, strength, and fortitude are beyond inspiring, as she refuses to carry the shame for her husband, who orchestrated her by dozens of men after he drugged her in their home, or the same of her. This is how the world changes, one woman at a time, one man at a time, who refuses to be silenced, denied, or invalidated by a global system that sustains such violations. The case against her former husband shocked the world, while her response has inspired awe. AWE. As she publishes a memoir, she discusses the abuse hidden within her apparently perfect marriage and why she decided to go public. Huge courage and huge love for this lady, and for all the survivors that are speaking up and risking so much to speak up. Just incredible courage. We must support the women and children and men who've been exploited by these brutal systems, these inhuman systems, and heal this. And here's another little bit here. I won't go into all of this, but it's the same subject. And this is from, I think, Donna's page. This is the ma'am attorney, oscillating between being completely consumed and enraged and wanting to turn away and burn your phone forever is a healthy response. That swing in your nervous system trying to protect itself. The risk is not the isolation. The risk is not noticing it. Noticing is the rupture to the trance. It's how you peel away. The moment you observe the pattern, instead of being inside of it, the spell breaks. Just see. You become consumed, you dive deep, you push to get more information, you stop sleeping. It takes over your life. Your focus narrows until there is nothing else. Gradually, they frack all your life force. They keep you locked in an endless energy loop in their sick mind games. You become one of their victims. You disengage completely. You decide it's too much, too confusing, too overwhelming. You walk away. It implodes from your exhaustion. Either way, they win. When the nervous system is overwhelmed, it seeks relief. This looks like outrage, doom scrolling, obsessing, or wanting to throw your phone in the ocean. Time starts to collapse. Days blur together. You check your phone compulsively. You think, I just need to understand this piece. But there is no final piece. There is always another fragment, another horror, dangling just out of frame, and you lose your agency. This is why trials involving extreme harm, rely on structure. The law does not do this to protect perpetrators, but to protect the jury. What is happening now is the opposite. There is a massive document drop with no categorization, containment, or guidance. The onus is placed entirely on the reader to make sense of chaos. There are random redactions that force the brain into constant guesswork. You have to deduce, infer, fill in the blanks. This keeps the mind spinning, searching, looping. You may have assumed they are sloppy. They are not. This is a known strategy. The most ruthless corporate defense lawyers fight cases this exact way. Disorganized document drops and endless data with no roadmap, both high volume but also evasive. It's at the same time too much information, but also omits the most crucial information. The strategy has two predictable outcomes. Okay, so more on all that. Yeah. Anyway, it's these are experienced people inviting us to understand how to face encounter, confront, and help each other move through some of the darkest information in this lifetime. That's a big thing, my friends. That's very, very big. Is it worse than watching the women and children of Gaza being shot and starved every day? Not really. But it's closer to home. And it's just another brick in the wall, isn't it? So courage and faith, please God. Yeah? All right. We'll leave that for the moment. There's more good information out there. There's very brilliant people who have a lot of experience in healing trauma and PTSD and all the rest of it, who are adding their voices. Another one here is Kirsty Jandrell, and she's on here an interview with Tim Wilde, and she deals with this issue, and they're talking about the Spring Soul Sanctuary that they're doing together for March 21st. So these worlds are merging, you know, and as has been said many times, you can't heal what you deny. You know, the first step in the 12 steps is acknowledging there's a problem, and the other 11 steps come after that. Okay, here's a little more sunshine. Zachary Fisher, you matter more than you think. There are moments in history where everything begins to shift, not because of governments or institutions, but because ordinary people decide to see themselves differently. This is one of those moments. The world doesn't change from the top down. It changes when individuals remember their power, when they lead with courage, kindness, and truth, in a time where all three are needed. Never underestimate the impact of one steady heart in a world that feels uncertain. We were talking about this in the course this morning. One person choosing integrity, choosing love, choosing growth, can ripple farther than they will ever see. The more fear you carry, the heavier this passage becomes, not as punishment, but because fear resists transformation. Powerful statement. This isn't about performing holiness. It's about choosing love when fear would be easier, choosing trust when control feels safer. Every soul reaches a moment where control no longer works, where logic cannot guarantee safety, where the only way forward is to loosen the hands and trust. Not passive denial, not reckless behavior, but deep, steady faith that Creator is not asleep at the wheel. Faith is not pretending everything is fine. Faith is standing in uncertainty and knowing you are still held. You are not here by accident. You are here because your presence matters, And what you choose to embody right now truly can change everything. We are all walking a path of remembrance, every one of us. Take a deep breath. Zachary Fisher. That says it beautifully, my brother. Thank you. And here one more time is a shout out for our brother Yonanda, who's an amazing, gifted mystic and a brilliant man, a beautiful soul that I've been blessed to sit with in meditation and hang out with for a few times over the last few months. And he's here in West Cork, and he does a circle every Friday morning. And I've made it my business to get there one way or the other. It was a bit of a thing last Friday. Oh my God. What I say here is, and I've done 2-hour-long interviews with Yonanda on Awakened Spirits Network, my YouTube channel. This is one of the best teachers of spiritual wisdom I've ever met. Check out my 2 interviews with Yonanda on my Awakened Spirits Network. He's doing a group every Friday morning at O'Donovan's at 10 a.m. Highly recommended. Peace and blessings, Lou. So it's a still from one of his interviews as well. Annie and I both have discovered this lady. This is on my page. It's called 5 2026 Prophecies. And she's a student of Edgar Cayce's readings. Edgar Cayce, who did 14,000 readings and only made one mistake in all of those readings that anyone's ever perceived. But what Annie and I are realizing from our sister Kristen Husted as well, who's also shown up recently with great love and light and integrity and wisdom and compassion, is that we can change things. Yes, and so the prophecies are what is going to happen if we don't change things. Ah, okay. And of course, all the darkness that's flooding into people's consciousness right now, if you're following the files, or anyone's interviews out there, every second video is about this on my feed, you're processing a lot. I mean, as I've said before, I've known about this through my guide's instruction and the people that I befriended and the books I read for at least the last 25 years. So it doesn't mean it isn't shocking, and it's more pervasive than I understood, but it's coming into the light now to be healed, and that's what we're here to do. Let's shine our light and share our love and heal this world through our peace and our example. And here's one more from Zachary Fisher. He says, the great exposure. Let's stop, and then I'll channel here for you. Let's stop pretending that this is just a phase. What's happening right now isn't random. It isn't just politics, the economy, or social media chaos. It's a full-scale exposure of everything that was propped up instead of built on something real. And exposure is always violent to illusion. We were sold stability. We were sold safety. We were sold systems that looked permanent, careers that would carry us, institutions that would protect us, leaders that would guide us, narratives that would make sense of the world. But underneath much of it was fragility, debt-based economies, attention-based media, approval-based relationships, fear-based governance, and identities built on performance instead of truth. Now the pressure is on, and pressure doesn't negotiate, it reveals. You're watching people unravel because their external anchors are slipping. Once God have mercy on the man who doubts what he's sure of, Springsteen. When someone's belief system becomes their identity, any challenge feels like a personal attack. When financial security is thin, every shift feels catastrophic. When belonging depends on agreement, disagreement feels like betrayal. This is very deep. So emotions rise, tension rises, projection rises, It's not random chaos, it's overloaded nervous systems, trying to hold on to something that no longer feels certain. And this will likely intensify before it stabilizes. There will be more narrative clashes, more economic strain, more institutional contradictions, more psychological fatigue, more moments where people reveal parts of themselves they've kept buried. You'll see extremes. Some will tighten their grip on control and rigid thinking just to feel safe. Others will detach completely and check out. Relationships will fracture where truth was avoided and deepen where authenticity exists. Because this isn't just structural change, it's identity change. The version of people that relied on external systems for stability is being tested. That's being generous, my friend. The version that stayed quiet to keep peace is being tested. The version that outsourced truth is being tested. The version that chased approval instead of alignment is being tested. This isn't punishment, it's refinement. Pressure reveals integrity. Those who learn to sit in uncertainty without spiraling will grow stronger. Those who can think clearly while narratives collide will become sovereign. Those who regulate themselves instead of reacting will become anchors for others. Those who can release what is false without losing themselves will evolve through this instead of being broken by it. And in conclusion here, the wildness is not the end. It is the breaking point of illusion. Some will interpret this season as doom. Others will recognize it as necessary. The difference won't be intelligence or belief systems. It will be resilience and self-awareness. You can't control the storm around you, but you can learn to steady yourself within it. And the ones who master that won't just survive this era, they'll quietly lead through it. Take a deep breath. There you are, breathtaking. A shout out to my fellow course student, Amanda Marie, who shared with us that she's started her own circle of stillness, her quiet time, and she's invited people to join her for a donation, and she's got a new thing happening in her a new giddy up in her story, and it's wonderful to see. And she was shining this morning when she was sharing that. And she's a sweet, gentle soul who got the call and has followed her heart and is now helping others to have a moment's peace at the beginning of the day, the most important moment of our 24 hours. There is no doubt. The day begins, the day runs as we begin it. And if you get up on the right side of the bed, it's a much better day than just showing up and hoping for the best. I tell you from personal experience, it's not an option. It's not an optional course. It's not an elective. It is a required course. Absolutely, my friends. May we set our sails for the world we want to inhabit. Thank you for being here. Please share the video. Thank you for your interest in LifeWave and the X39 light patch, which is helping millions of people, I'd say, around the world. Yeah, and I'm one of those people. And I'm on again tonight with my group at 7:30 for another Zoom call, 2 in a row this week. We did a great presentation last night, and I'm still looking for the video on my computer. It seems to have gone with the wind, but we did a great job. We had a great presentation, and we were all very grateful for the people that showed up. You can make a donation to my PayPal link, and I'd be grateful for that. It's lightheart2018@gmail.com. You can book a session with me one-to-one for counseling or channeling or both. They all kind of run together. And I don't do many these days, but I still enjoy the opportunity to do that with folks. And you can subscribe on Substack. Let's channel out. We pray in and we channel out. Mercy, go ahead and close your eyes. Thank you again for being here. If you're hearing all this, if you got on late, do go back to the beginning. We were celebrating the life of a brother named Coleman Barks, who popularized the great poet Rumi and the values of the mystic, the best-selling poet in the world. And Coleman was definitely a part of that. Some amazing wisdom here today. Just so grateful for the opportunity to share these deep teachings with all of you. Really, really grateful. Deeply grateful. Thank you, God. All right. Close your eyes, turn within, take a deep breath. God bless you, dear friends. Here we go. It's a feast of inspiration to hear the words, excuse us, the messages, the music, the poetry, the passion, the wisdom, and the devotion, dear friends. Devotion versus discipline, they both go hand in hand. Discipline, the masculine; devotion, the feminine. And together, the sacred marriage of divine harmony and balance. And that's what every soul in this world, on this earth, at this time, is being asked to listen to, trust, and follow, dear friends. So the value of quieting the mind, opening the heart, and diving deep into the peace, that box of peace, as our brother Bhikkhu says here, that box of peace within your heart, opening that up and drinking that in at the beginning of your day, and from time to time as you're invited to do so, called to do so, inspired to do so, dear friends. Learning to live from the inside out, dear friends. Learning to live from the overflow. Learning to live from the abundance of trust and joy and happiness and peace and gratitude and appreciation that is there within every human heart, if you will but listen to the song of your soul. Take a deep breath. The soul is becoming more consciously integrated into the human experience at this moment of awakening, healing, and growth. To live in the world, but not of it, as we say many times here, dear friends, to quote Yeshua. And this is the truth that sets you free, dear friends. The heart of the paradox, as we like to say. That you are a spiritual being having a human experience. That you have a mind and a body, but you are your soul and spirit. So we invite you once again to use what you have to remember who you are. And as you do this, as you will do this, as you must do this, dear friends, so the world of your past, of the illusions of separation and the duality and the contrast and the conflict, dear friends, will break up and make way for the world of your soul, dear friends, the world of your spirit, the world of the sacred, the world, the earth of honoring life, dear friends, as the highest gift. Death has been replaced in your world so often. Substituted is a better word, or covered over, even more to the point. than the gift of life, and control and domination, the wounded masculine self in humanity, men and women, God bless you, dear friends, has been raised above, and the divine feminine has been cast down. And this is ending, this is ending, this is ending, dear friends. Hallelujah. Because you've come far enough, collectively and individually, to be willing to feel your feelings, dear friends, to express what's in your heart, and to let yourself cry and weep and mourn and grieve and care and heal and start again. Grief is a bitter gift, dear friends. Painful, sorrowful, hurtful. And yet, the truth that surrounds the moment of loss waits for permission to come back into your life, into your heart, your soul and spirit, dear friends. Wait for your invitation so that what you feel becomes more important than what you perceive. Dear friends, it isn't a battle, it's a balance. It isn't a fight, it's a family. It isn't a struggle, it's your sovereignty. You have it within you now, even as we speak these words. To listen to, trust, and follow your heart of hearts, dear friends, the deepest place of feeling and perceiving within yourself. And your higher self, your soul, your spirit, are guiding you there even as we speak. Take a deep breath. So feel what comes up for you as we speak these words together here. And let the peace, the power, and the moment itself ring that glorious bell of love that is your very beingness, that is your song of freedom, that is the path you are called to walk in this lifetime of lifetimes. Dear ones, we ask you again to trust that what is true for you is true. And without pride and with great humility, to shine your light and share your love. The world is seeking your light, your love, your wisdom, your truth, your integrity, your courage, your compassion, seeking to remember, to awaken within itself the gifts that have been denied, the feelings that have been disowned, the grief that has been delayed. Now, with so many examples of cruelty and selfishness and death, dear friends, the heart of the earth is aching for your love, your peace, and your compassion for yourself, for your community, for Mother Earth, and for your future. You can, you will, and you are divinely guided, prepared, and called. Shine your light, share your love. Let your love and your light touch the hearts of everyone in your life, and be free. It is simple. And with practice and faith and courage, it becomes easier and easier to do. Joy is the soul set free in truth to love. Come home to your heart. Come home to love. Be at peace. We will meet again. Namaste. Thank you. Coleman Barks, my friends. Rest in peace. Peace and blessings. Namaste.